dance.
Thank you. I have a question about guides, spiritual guides.
They're all around you, guiding you all the time.
Yeah.
You just have to be in the vibrational vicinity so that you can realize the impulse.
Okay. I was listening to a workshop recently, and someone was talking about how they were really connected to the Archangel Michael. That was one of their guides. And then someone else I was talking to said the same thing, said that the Archangel Michael was one of their guides. And so I was like, okay, so he must be really busy, right? But how does that work? How do we get connected with guides?
Well, the thing that makes it difficult for you to acknowledge non-physical is that the framework of your physical environment makes you want to assume that it's a similar framework, when consciousness is more fluid. And it also is helpful when you realize that this guidance, you're really going to like this. If you've been listening to us for a little while, and if you heard us talking about how as you sift and sort through life that you launch these rockets that go into this vibrational reality. We called it the vortex. We wrote a whole book about this vibrational reality. So if you can acknowledge that you've been living a lot of life and you've been asking and asking and asking, and each time you ask, Source was there to answer what you were asking. And let's call it Source, let's call it collective consciousness, let's call it infinite intelligence. It makes it feel easier for you to not say it's so busy. Infinite intelligence has time for you. And you're not asking for everything that you want all at once anyway. So you're asking, and so it's answered. Once it's answered, it's held in this vibrational reality for you. So now the question about timing isn't, does Archangel Michael or Abraham or Jerry or whoever it is that you're putting your God, whoever the label is that you're utilizing as you're making your request, it's not about them then needing to stand by all the time. The request is made and the vibration is being held in that ready for you to receive form. The question is, what are you doing about getting into the vibrational vicinity? Can you feel what we're saying? Can you feel the difference in saying, Archangel Michael, I want you to show me my path, and saying, I realize my path has already been created and you've already shined a spotlight on it, and now I will find a way of putting myself in a vibrational attitude or mood so that I can realize the path that's already there. We want to take this wonderful question and use it to help you to feel that everything that you want is all queued up for you. It's not like these wonderful people on the ship that are on duty all the time. It's your turn to answer that phone. It's not like that at all. It's that the answers have already been made. It's the putting yourself in the place of receiving them. But you see, you don't realize that for the most part because you're more interested in the turning thoughts to things than you were in the creating of the thought to begin with. But the hard work's already done. You've lived the life that has done the creation. Now it's the allowing the creation to be realized by you. That's what your work now is, about everything. It's hard for you to hear that sometimes as we say, so there's this vortex of creation and everything that you want is there. Get in the vortex, we said, get in the vortex. You got a little irritated that. How do I get in? How do I get in? And now we are saying, rather than get in the vortex, which is just another way of saying it, prepare yourself vibrationally so that what's in the vortex can be realized by you. Realized by you. Not revealed to you, realized by you. It's already been revealed, you just haven't realized the revelation. And then you say, okay, I realize there's money in my vortex. I would like to get it out of my vortex and into my bank. And that's what we're talking about here. You've got to find the vibrational atmosphere that allows you to be the receiver of it. And it will come in the form of an impulse. Esther's been playing a very productive and fun game with herself. She's been doing her best to not be scheduled all the time. other than the weekly events that she is holding every Saturday, just about somewhere. And of course, there's the rendezvous with the airplane and so on, that she keeps her promise to herself. She shows up at the airport at the time that the airplane is going to leave and so forth. But she's trying to leave as much of her life unscheduled as possible so that she can follow the impulse. So when she gets an impulse to do something, an impulse to call someone, an impulse to text someone, an impulse to go move something from here to here, an impulse to unplug the charger and put it in the suitcase. How many times have you had that impulse, ignored it, and got home without your charger? Why not follow the impulse? And of course, those are simple ways of saying it, but following the impulse, because there is a really bright path that is lighting for you constantly. And whether you want to assign it to one archangel or another, we wouldn't. We would say, infinite intelligence has my back. Okay. Everyone that I've ever known is aware of me. So many things are queued up for me. There are 20 or 30 paths unfolding. It's one path, but 20 or 30 options for me to be on my path in any moment in time. Which one do I feel most inspired to? But it takes a little while for you to really get the hang of this, where you start following the path and then noticing, aren't you finding that all the time? Aren't you following an impulse and then later discovering that, oh, that's what that was about. That queued me up for that, and that queued me up for that, and that queued me up for that. Esther played the game for a while. Well, if that hadn't happened, then that couldn't have, and if that hadn't happened, then that couldn't have. Sort of playing it backwards, and we want you to realize that it's always lining up for you. Things are always working out for you. And you don't need to worry about all of us that are watching out with all of you, because there are plenty of consciousnesses who are aware of who you are and what you want. It's our favorite thing to tell you. We know where you stand right now in relationship to everything you want, and we know what the path of least resistance is to get you from where you are to where you want to be. And we want to also say that the path of least resistance does not mean the fastest path or the most direct route, although that's what you want it to mean usually. How can I get rid of the absence of what I want quickly? Or how can I get to the presence of what I want? And we say, don't you really want some of the path? You're going on vacation, you say, oh, well, we're leaving Seattle, and then we're going to go to this port, and 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 then we're coming back to Seattle. None of you, not one of you said, wait, we're already in Seattle, why go? We can just check this cumbersome cruise right off our list. Why put ourselves through all of that when we're already where we're going to end up? Yeah. Because you don't go to get it over with, and you're not looking for the path to get over there to where you think you want to be. Sometimes you are, because you feel like filling the void, changing that condition would make you feel so much better. But we want you to realize that you can feel better right now, whether you change the condition or not. And if you can hear that, the condition does not have to change for you to feel better. And if you can hear that, and you can find a way to feel better, even though the condition hasn't changed, now you have mastered unconditional alignment, unconditional love. And when you master unconditional love, all kinds of conditions will reveal themselves to you. But there's a difference between needing the condition to be different so that you can feel good, and feeling good and creating the condition. Can you hear it? It's just a little bit of time before you get this turned around, where you're just feeling a series of feelings, such as fun or interested. Do you really care if you're having fun? Isn't that a good way to spend this moment in time? If you're fascinated with something, isn't that a really good way to spend this moment in time? If you're exhilarated about something or passionate about something, do you really care where you're standing while you're feeling that way? Do you really need to be looking right in the face of someone to feel that way? Or is feeling that way as you imagine looking in the face of them? Isn't that worth something too, you see? Did we get there for you?
You did.